I'm back, and this is episode 5 of What If Deku Had His Parents' Quirk, so let's get into it. So, we're going to be starting off from the sports festival where Deku won. So, after the sports festival, Class 1A are in class, and as Aizawa comes in, saying, now that the sports festival has ended and it's all finished, it's time for internships. Everyone gets excited, wondering who's got places, who's getting offered. Everybody looks at like Deku and Bakugo, saying like, oh, they're probably going to get the highest ones. As then Aizawa pulls up a list with everybody's scores in. Everybody gets the same except Todoroki and Deku and Bakugo. So Todoroki gets 4,000. I think it's like 4,123. But I'm going to make it less because Deku put on a good performance in this. So Todoroki gets 4,000, Deku gets around 3,900, and then Bakugo gets 700. A little bit less than he does in the anime, but that's because he lost. So everybody's a bit surprised that Todoroki got more than Deku, but then remember, Todoroki's Endeavor's son, so he's got the clout of that. So, you know, Endeavor clout. And after that, Aizawa explains that they need hero names as Midnight walks into the room saying like, she'll be choosing them because I'm rubbish at choosing them because the name's erased ahead. So basically Midnight comes in and everyone figures out their names. Everybody has the same names, like Uraka gets Uravity, and like Bakugo doesn't get King Explosion made up because he's trying to be a hero and like no one thinks that's a good hero name. So as it gets to the Deku's turn, he gets in the front of the class and he puts up the board and his hero name is going to be Mute. Midnight questions him, asking why the name's Mute and not something about fire, but Deku explains on his pad. He's got like this electronic pad, so he can speak. Well, not speak, but type up what he's thinking. And basically, Deku explains that he wants to embrace his injury and he doesn't want to hide from it and like pretend it's not there. So if he lets the whole world know he speaks, then he can get over it himself. So I mean, that's pretty fair. I mean, everyone accepted that in the class. As everyone settles down and they choose their internships now as they got a name, Uraka comes up to Deku with Kirishima. Oh my god, I'm going to sneeze. Oh, I should have taken my tablets. I got hay fever tablets. I suffer from hay fever. Madness. Anyway, Uraka and Kirishima come up asking him what agency he's going to. And Deku says Endeavor because he's got a similar quirk, and they're like, yeah, that makes sense. But this gets a reaction from Todoroki as the room temperature drops a little bit because he's using ice. So he's not best pleased with that. So, where was I? Deku notices, but he doesn't really care because he wants to get stronger and protect people. Protect people and make himself stronger because he doesn't want to ever go through what happened in the USJ when his body wasn't powerful enough to hold his own quirk. So he doesn't want that ever to happen again. So I think it's like in 2 days they get their suitcase with their hero suit, and then go to everybody's agency. Everybody goes to the same. If I said that already, I don't know. I don't remember. Even though it might have been 2 seconds ago. Oh well. So as Deku arrives at Endeavor's agency and like walks in, he's greeted by Kido. I think it's Kido. I just searched up on the wiki. Endeavor sidekicks. Oh, sorry. Endeavor sidekicks. And then came up with Kaido, who can like stop things in motion. I think that's his quirk. Anyway, he says Endeavor is waiting for him in his office as he walks up with Deku to the elevator and they go up. He opened Kido. I'm calling him Kido in this. It could be Kaido actually. Kaido? Yeah, Kaido sounds better. Anyway, Kaido opens the door. No. Sorry. Kaido congratulates Deku for winning the tournament as they arrived at Endeavor's office. He opens the door. He opens the door, leaving Deku as he walks off back to whatever he was doing before. As the door shuts, Deku scans across the massive room to see Endeavor and Todoroki looking at him, both with similar stares of how did he beat me, and then how did he beat Endeavor's how did he beat my prodigy son, as Endeavor beckons him over. Over the week, Endeavor gets Deku and Todoroki to spar, with Deku winning all of the duels conclusively, as Todoroki's getting more and more irritated as the hours go on, but Todoroki's not going to win because he's only using ice. Basically, this smashing about 49 wins for Deku gets Endeavor pretty annoyed and proclaims to Todoroki that this is how you take down an opponent. Oh, sorry again. I'm going to take some water actually. As he pushes Todoroki away, which gets a reaction of ice, but he doesn't notice it. He just wants to prove that Deku isn't even that strong, even though he's a student. So Endeavor tells Deku to brace himself. As the match begins, Endeavor uses Hell Flames to shoot fire at Deku, which Deku just dodges and deflects with his pyrokinesis. But he deflects them and he blocks them, or deflects them. He does both with blue flames, as Endeavor's base fire is stronger than his base fire. His orange and green fire, both they're more powerful, so he has to use blue flames. Endeavor is reminded of Toya or Dabi. It's gonna be Dabi, but he's reminded of that, but then gets back into focus as Deku rushes in with fireballs, throwing them at Endeavor as he pushing him back with the fireballs, because it's so rapid that Endeavor blocks him, but he's getting pushed back slowly and slowly. So this carries on for about 3 minutes, but the tides change. Yeah, that's an expression. The tides change as Endeavor starts to push Deku back with his Hellfire, as Deku's trying to hold off with his fire, but he's losing because Endeavor's more powerful. So Deku on the spot's thinking of a plan to beat him, and then remembers all of Endeavor's clips as he's reminded of his legs, as he looks at Endeavor's flames. He remembers that he produces fire on his legs and arms, so he uses his pyrokinesis to immobilize him, as he can stop anybody else's flames. He can control him, so he just stops and compresses them, making Endeavor immobile. And at this moment of confusion for Endeavor, Deku rushes forward and produces white flames, which does hit him, but he produces white flames and then uses them from his mouth, and uses them to land a punch to Endeavor's temple, which is the punch is I'm just gonna say it's getting hit by a truck going full speed. So this knocks out Endeavor, shocking Endeavor's sidekicks and Todoroki. So Deku gives an awkward scratch of his head, is oh, I just knocked out the number 2 hero. I was but Endeavor doesn't stay knocked out for too long, so he gets up about 10 seconds later, and he's oh, and all his sidekicks are you alright? as Deku like Endeavor lets Deku leave, hitting his pride, like telling them all to leave. Oh, God, coughing a lot today. Anyway, Endeavor tells all of them to leave, as Todoroki's sort of happy that he saw Endeavor's loss, but he's sort of angry that Deku's powerful enough to beat his dad already. So Todoroki calls him out and starts shouting at him when they're like by the dorm area. Like, they have separate rooms, obviously. Todoroki's actually a floor above in his like room where Endeavor had for him already made, because like son. So he calls him out, asking him how is he that strong to beat his father. And Deku types and explains that he's trained his Quick to the fullest and has used his whole Quick for most of his life. So he knows his limitations and wants to break them, keeps breaking them, and like he's training his Quick to get stronger and stronger every day. And like Todoroki should be using his whole Quick, and that's why he'll never beat Endeavor or be better than Endeavor with his ice. This hits Todoroki hard, but he does understand, like, you know, in the tournament arc where he understands Izuku. But it's not as like sentimental and like powerful because he's reading off a pad. So anyway, Deku leaves to go to his room as Todoroki thinks about his fire, and then Todoroki goes to his room and then produces fire for the first time in a while. So Todoroki's now going to be using fire. So the next day they're called into the office with Endeavor looking at Deku with a bit of anger but also respect, because Deku did beat him. So he now does think Deku worthy of a rival for Todoroki to overcome and become more powerful. So anyway, he gets in the office with all the sidekicks and Todoroki, and Endeavor explains that they're going to capture the hero killer Stain, as they immediately depart to Hosu City. As they arrive, all the events happen. The Nomu start attacking the city, and the streets turn into chaos. At this moment, Deku's fighting off the grey Nomus. There's no black Nomus yet, because that happens later on. No black Nomus happen yet, so Endeavor and all of the rest of the psychics are just taking out the grey Nomus, as Deku remembers that Ida went to Hosu, and he hears Manuel shouting, "Where did Ida go?" As he remembers that Yoraka said, "If you're near Ida, please can you keep an eye on him, as he's not in the right frame of mind as he normally is." And this is when Deku figures out Hosu City, and he remembers that Hero Killer's here, and that the Hero Killer had Stain had paralyzed his brother. So Deku was like, Ida's gonna do something stupid. So Deku darts off with his flame boost into the direction Manuel's calling at. He boosts up to rooftops and comes across Ida about her being impaled in one of the alleys. I don't know which alley. It's just a random alley. So he sees Ida's about to be impaled by Stain, as Stain's been like, "You're a fake hero." Just before Stain could stab him, he shoots flames at him, as Stain easily dodges. Sorry, I'm dying today, boys. I'm dying. It's not good. It's not a good state of mind. Anyway, Deku jumps down and quickly makes a wall of I'm gonna say green fire. No. Yeah, green fire. He makes a wall of green fire because, like, green fire, I just want to use it. I haven't used it in a while. As he rushes towards Native and Ida and picks him up and puts him at the bottom of the street before messaging Todoroki to come with Endeavor as he's found the hero killer stain. He doesn't mention Ida's injured or anything because, like, they're going to be coming anyway, so it doesn't really matter. And Todoroki's, like, already messaged him once, like, where did you go? As he just dipped, and Todoroki has no idea. So, as this happened, he finishes that, drops him off. He's just like, this isn't your fight, and then Deku's like, gives him a stare, which Ida, like, you can read as, like, right, I'm a fucking idiot. So, like, Deku just darts back into the alley as Stain slices through the fire with his swords. I'm guessing he can do that. Slices through this fire with his swords as they meet in a standoff. Stain notices that Ida and Native are gone, and then says Deku is a true hero, and then starts preaching about his philosophy. Deku, he wants Deku to respond, but Deku can't, so Deku just fires fire at him as Deku starts dodging and melting knives that he throws at him, as he just keeps Stain pinned off from the flame with his flames. As Deku's pushing, like, holding Stain there whilst he's waiting for Todoroki and Endeavor, I'm going to say, yeah, Stain gets hit in the side by a kick from Mirio as he springs out of the ground and uses One For All, because I'm giving Mirio One For All. I don't want Deku to rely on One For All in this, because, like, his throat would get incinerated if he had One For All, because his fires get boosted. So it's just illogical, and I decided to give it to Mirio. So he does that as Stain gets back to his feet and dodges the follow-up. Mirio is standing on the opposite side to Deku, so now Stain is pinned in completely. As he smiles and saying, "Good job, kid," because he can see, like, Deku's new, like, a first year. So he says, good job, as they both, like, nod to each other as they rush Stain. Stain holds him off for a bit, but he's incapacitated by a kick to the front and the back of the head from Deku and Mirio, which he's just out. Basically, his head becomes a sandwich. He's not dead, obviously. So Stain is knocked out now and he's tied up. I think they had rope on him or something. They just tied him up. Yeah, fuck it. They have rope on him. Native had rope on him and they just tied him up with that. So with Stain tied up, Endeavor and Todoroki arrive and see Stain, and I think they think, use your brain, Tom. And Endeavor is pretty impressed with both Mirio and well, he knows Mirio as Lemillion, because, like, Mirio's big three, he knows about him, and he's very impressed with Deku for taking out, or supporting to take out, the hero killer Stain. So he's pretty impressed. The Nomu does try, that winged Nomu, that grey winged Nomu, does try to pick up Midoriya, but Endeavor just incinerates it with his fire. So yeah, that does none of the drama with Stain giving out his bloodlust, because, like, in this he's proper out, like, not gonna get back up instantly. So that whole incident's are resolved, and that dog police chief scolds Deku and Ida for using. He doesn't scold Mirio, who's also in the room, because, like, Mirio's got a license now. So Deku and Ida are scolded for using their quirks, which makes Ida annoyed, and she starts saying that Deku saved him and Native's life. They shouldn't be taking the glory away and giving it to Endeavor, because, like, Endeavor, Stain's got burns on him from Deku, so they're going to say it was Endeavour. So the police chief scolds him for using their quirks. Deku doesn't really care because he wants to help people, and that's about it. He doesn't really care about the fame because he's a sound guy. He's sound. So after the scolding, he does pay off Deku, praise Deku off the record, saying that was amazing what you did, and like also praises Mirio, as like Mirio had told him what happened, as he like saw the fight happen and then took the report from Deku and then heard how he saved Native Anita before going into the fight. He also, the chief guy also says that Stain did say that a video had been circling that the only person that defeated him was no. Let me rack on that. Leminian in the fight said, "Well done, Mute," because he knew about him already from All Might, because All Might talked about this kid with great potential but lost his voice. So Stain knows about Mute now. So in the viral video, he says there's only two heroes that are worthy of being called heroes, and that's All Might and Mute. So like in the underworld, like Mute is like sound now, like Mute's known. So yeah, that happens. The end of internship happens, and Endeavour does say Deku will become a great hero, and then does the Endeavour thing where push my son to be the greatest ever. Deku just like sort of nods and agrees because he doesn't want to get into it. And the day the internship's finished, and after that they're on their way to school, and Todoroki asks Deku to train his fire, and Deku agrees with fire. Not with fire, with a smile. So yeah, that's about it. Yeah, that's about it. Sound. Alright, thanks, and goodbye.